Everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, welcome. My name is Mandy, and I have not been buying a lot of makeup lately. In fact, I don't know that I bought but like 2 things in the month of July, one of which is going to be the bronzer I used today. I'm just really wanting to give attention to the products that I already have. I am going out of town. Chad and I are going to Alaska very soon. I've started thinking about what I'm going to take makeup wise, because typically when I do travel, I take things that can be on repeat for me. I don't take too many options. So I do one look and one look only. And I started thinking about this look in particular, and I've done it for the past couple of days. And I'm like, yeah, this is the look, because it makes me feel good. Every time I wear this look or a look similar, I just feel good. I feel confident. We all have our looks like that. We all have our products that do that for us. And these are the products that do it for me. So I am going to show you how I got this look right now. I'm going to start out by saying this is less about the base being my feel good as it is about my eyes and like my cheeks. However, I do make sure when I want my feel good makeup that I pick something that I love. Today I have on my Merit Uniform Tinted SPF, which I love. I use it as an SPF. I do not use it as a skin tint, but it performs as both. So this is 7 pumps of the Merit on my skin. I do have concealer on because I'm filming another video with this as a concealer review, so I'm not gonna go over that. And now we're gonna go on to the next steps. I always feel good in a powder foundation. I don't know what it is. I have normal to dry skin. And I think it's a misconception that people of a certain age, whatever that means, and with normal to dry skin cannot wear powder foundations or really powders at all, which is not true. The formulas of powder foundations have come so far. However, I'm noticing, and I don't know if it's just the summer or if it's just all the changes happening, that I do get much shinier in my T-zone than I used to. So on a daily basis, no matter what, this is part of every day for me lately, I will use the Fit Glow Bamboo Powder in my T-zone. Just because even if I use a powder foundation that is more matte, I still end up getting shinier in that area. So this really helps that shine stay at bay, or at least not come out for a very long time. Again, powder foundations are just an automatic yes for me. I've talked about the Estee Lauder. I used that in my last reel on Instagram. I love that one. I think I used it in a new makeup video too. I love the Jane Iredale. I love the Fenty. I love the L'Oreal. I love the Natasha Denona one, but I have a shade that's a little too light for me. I have lots of favorites, but the newest one in my collection is the Chanel powder foundation. So I thought I would use that today. This is the Ultra Le Temps All Day Comfort Flawless Finish Compact Foundation. I'm in the shade B20 in this. Now, typically I am in B30, but I saw from a lot of people that these run dark. So to go down one step, and I do think that's pretty accurate because this does work for me. It does come with a sponge. I've tried it with a sponge. I prefer my powder foundations with a brush, and my favorite brush to use is the Lawless multi-purpose brush. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just gonna put this on my cheeks and everywhere that I didn't put the Fit Glow. I love the Merit by itself. I've done a whole video on that, but I especially love it with a powder foundation on top. Now, I definitely need some color on my face, and I haven't seen too many people talk about this, except for on Instagram when it first was being launched. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Smooth Blur Bronzer. This is in Tropical Tan. And when it first was like announced that it was gonna be launched, the promo pictures for this were awful. They all looked very, very gray, very gray. And then I think the owner came out and was like, those promo pictures were not taken by us. They don't look like the real product. It just became a thing. And I was like, you know what? I just want to try it anyways. This one looked the most warm out of all of them. So I bought it. And it is a matte bronzer. I'm using my Rephr 22. I know I've talked a lot lately about matte bronzers and how right now I just prefer them because I like my shine on my face to be very intentional, meaning a highlight, maybe a blush, And I do like a shimmery bronzer sometimes on my cheeks, but I don't often like it on my forehead. So as a whole, I tend to reach for matte bronzers. Now this one is very buildable. I think you can tell. And sometimes I need to take a eyeshadow brush right up on my hairline to fill that in so it doesn't look so obvious. I've just been liking how that looks on the skin. Now, this next product is definitely one of the ones I reach for the Feel Good face. And it technically could be in any of the colors that I have, but this one I've been reaching for the most. If you can't tell, I'm in a beige mood lately. I'm liking beige clothes, I got beige nails, I'm using beige blush. This is True Harmony in the Glow Play Cushion Blush from MAC. I have talked about these endlessly. They're one of my favorite formulas of blush. And I think I have 5 or 6 shades, but again, I'm just reaching for this one a lot. I'm liking the monochromatic look that this look ends up being. And I'm gonna use my Angie Hot and Flashy A507. I think a denser brush works best for these blushes because of their formula. True Harmony used to be like a powder blush, and I don't know if they still have it or not, but a lot of people used to use it for contouring. And it does kind of have that like gray beige look in the pot, but I feel like it comes off not as gray on the cheeks. I'm gonna use my Hourglass. I don't really feel like I need it, but I'm just so used to it. And I just love it so much. Now, remember when I was talking about intentional shine? A lot of times when I wear these blushes, I don't feel the need for additional highlight. But I feel good with additional highlight. So that's what I'm gonna do. And my favorite right now is the Sarah Creel Today's Highlights, and this just in. I'm also loving the new Crystal Slipper from RMS. Those are kind of the two that I'm reaching for the most. But this one, ever since I've gotten it, if I just wanna look where I'm like, yeah, I know it's gonna look the way I want it to look, this is the one I reach for. Now this is really where the feel good aspect comes in, my eyes. And that is because every single time I use the products that I used on my face, on my eyes, I feel the best. Hands down. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a time where I have used the bronzer, the blush, the highlight that I've used on my face, on my eyes, that I didn't love the end result. This is the same look I did. I got a comment on one of my Instagram reels from like November of last year. And I went back to look at the comment and I was like, I don't even remember, this reel. Let me look at it. And now it was this eye look. And I was like, wow, I really like that eye look. So I started doing it again. And again, it's everything I used on my face. So I'm gonna use the bronzer on a Rephr 27 in my crease. It doesn't matter what bronzer you use, but if it is the same one that is on your face, it's gonna provide a very cohesive look. And then I'm gonna take True Harmony, which has quickly become one of my favorite eyeshadows. And I'm just putting this all over my lid. It just gives a very natural shaded look. It's not overly smoky. I mean, I can make it that way with eyeliner, but this right here to me is very everyday. And remember, you already have these products out because we used them on the face. So it's not like I'm searching for what am I gonna, do today on my eyes, or how am I gonna make sure it matches my blush and all that kind of stuff. I've already used it. I know it matches. It's the exact same thing. My Feel Good liner is always gonna be a Victoria Beckham, and it's likely always gonna be this shade. This is in Cinnamon, which as of right now, and as of a very long time, this has been my favorite liner. Not only in formula, but shade. And I just like to smudge it out a little bit where it really ends up just being a very slight definition to the lash line, but not overly noticeable. Now in that reel, I used this under the eyes, and while I loved it, I'm just not in the mood for that today. So I'm just gonna take my bronzer. I do feel like I need something. I feel like putting something to smoke out the lower lash line is gonna help. Now for mascara, I typically have about 4, maybe even 5 mascaras open at a time. If I didn't do YouTube, I would have 1. I don't keep a mascara in rotation if I don't like it, if it doesn't make me feel like my lashes look good in them, which in turn is a feel good look. So really it doesn't matter which one of my mascaras I choose right now that's open. This one is Tower 28. It's always been a favorite of mine. I'm gonna use this because it's almost out and I wanna make sure I don't waste any. In fact, I believe that might be the last time I'm able to use that one. So I believe that one's gonna go in my empties. Now let's move on to lips. It is no surprise. A gloss is always gonna make me feel good. It is just my chosen product to use on the lips. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that 1 to 2 times a year, I have a very large lip outbreak. I have no idea what causes it, and it's starting. I can feel it right here. And I'm like, oh, I'm about to go on vacation too. It always happens like that. I'm gonna start with a lip liner. I love the Swede lip liners, and this one is barely there. I don't always wear lip liners, but I do feel like they make my lips look fuller, which is part of their purpose. So I do like when I use them. And City Lips, y'all knew it was gonna be a City Lips. This is a Midnight Sparkle, which I love because it's clear, but it has a little bit of like whiteness to it, if that makes sense. So I really like using that shade when I use a lip liner. And every single time I wear this look, I just feel good. In fact, like I said, I'm going out of town. Chad and I are going to Alaska, and this is what I'm taking. All of what I just used is what I'm gonna be taking. I probably won't wear makeup that much, but when I do, this is gonna be the look because I just cannot stop enjoying it. It just always makes me feel good. So hopefully you enjoyed. As always, I will have everything I used listed and linked down in the description box. Thank y'all so much for watching. I will see you in my next video, and I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.